we talk a lot about motherhood and women's health on this podcast, so I'm really excited to open the chat up and to be focusing on the very important other halves, the dads. This week, I'm joined by Nigel Clarke, dad of 3, TV presenter, recognised by many little people from CBeebies The Baby Club.
Dads are already thinking, okay, I want to be more supportive at home to my partner. I want to be more involved with my kids from a younger age. All these different things are totally new.
What do you wish you'd known before you became a dad?
Let's start at the very beginning. Expectant fathers, take it seriously from the start.
Hi, I'm Pip and welcome to the Midwife Pip podcast, the home of expert information and real chats on all things pregnancy, birth and beyond. Now, we talk a lot about motherhood and women's health on this podcast, so I'm really excited to open the chat up and to be focusing on the very important other halves, the dads. This week, I'm joined by Nigel Clarke, dad of 3, TV presenter, recognised by many little people from CBeebies The Baby Club, founder of Dadvengers, and a man on a mission to bridge this gap and ensure that dads, their needs and roles are brought to the forefront of the conversation. So welcome, Nigel, and thanks for letting me steal you away from all your super busy ventures.
Wow, that was quite an intro. It does remind me of how busy I am when I hear all the different things that I'm doing, like put down like that. But yeah, it needs to be done. It needs to be done.
It so does need to be done. And I feel like I'm like guilty as charged here because we do talk so much. I have so many female guests, so many mums, so many like female business founders, so much women's health stuff on this podcast. And I'm like, yeah, dads need to know this stuff too. Dads need support. Dads need educating. Dads need nurturing. Dads need like an outlet as well. So thanks for coming to help me fill that void because I'm totally guilty in that I need to do more of it.
Oh, no, thank you for having me.
First thing I wanted to ask you is, what does being a dad mean to you?
Being a dad, it is the most important job of your life, isn't it? It's the one that matters. It's the one that shapes not only you, it shapes the world around you, it shapes the future, it shapes what we leave behind. It's everything, isn't it?
I love that.
It's massive.
And I think, again, we talk so much about like the role of motherhood, and I just don't think we talk enough about the role of fatherhood. And I think in today's society, it's so difficult with like, you know, paternity leave being shockingly poor and all of those different, you know, pressures and pulls on dads. I think that sometimes understanding how you want that role to be for you and then being able to actually mirror and achieve that can be really tough. It's
a minefield, and because the landscape's changing so much and has changed so much and is going to continue to change so much, it's something that we constantly have to navigate and constantly have to think about. You having me here on this podcast, you're already thinking about how we're supporting the dads. Dads are already thinking, okay, I want to be more supportive at home to my partner. I want to be more involved with my kids from a younger age. All these different things are totally new for both partners, for both males and females. So navigating it and finding new ways and finding what's going to be the best for us and our children is a constant battle.
I'm here for it though, because let's be honest, completely selfishly as a mum, if my partner, my boy's dad, who is super hands-on, but the more involved he is, the easier it is for me.
Oh, totally.
So I'm here for it.
But the thing is, what people don't realize is when you have the opportunity, because not everyone has the opportunity to have both parents involved, it makes it easier for everyone. It makes it easier for the children. It makes it easier for mum. It makes it easier for dad. It makes it easier when grandparents are involved. Do you know what I mean? The more people that are involved, the easier it gets. And people don't realize that. That's one of the things. I think people think it's just a strain on the person who's doing the work, let's say. But the benefits for the other people involved are huge. They're massive.
Absolutely. When little Finley wakes up in the night, if he's unwell and he asks for daddy, there's like a little light inside me that's like, yes, I haven't got to get out of bed.
Yeah, totally. And right now, with my youngest Cassius, I'm flavor of the month. I'm like it's daddy, daddy, daddy all the time. If he falls over and cries, I'll be upstairs working or something. He's like, no, 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 I want daddy, 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 daddy. Where's daddy? I'm going to bed. All right, cool. See you lot later. Where's daddy? Daddy's taking me to bed. Like it's flavor of the month right now, and that will change because it goes through peaks and troughs and
Always,
whatnot.
yeah.
But you know, it's for me, it's lovely. I love it.
It's nice, isn't it? It's so nice. But like you say, like you wake up the next day and it's like, no, daddy's in the bad books. Like, it's
The
all
thing
about
is,
love.
though,
It's funny.
saying that, it's only that because of how involved I am. I'd speak to other dads, and they can feel totally the other way. Like it's always mummy, and they feel left out, and they don't have that. And I think the only reason I do have it is because I've thrown myself in with Cassius from day dot, and I think supporting men to be able to do that is what creates something like this, because it's so easy to be in a situation. Let's say I'm going to just throw out examples that I have of a mum who sees a dad struggling with something with their little one and says, oh, don't worry, come here, give me that, and I'll take over, let me do it. It's not about that. It's not about that. It's about leave him, let him learn, let him struggle. As a mum, you have to learn things, and nobody jumps in to help you. And there might be a midwife or a health visitor, you know, from time to time if you need it. But like most of the time, you're going to have to learn something on your own. And I think that learning something and not having the help is something dads miss out on massively, which can be a massive foundation in their parenting journey.
Yeah. Oh, I love that example, because I definitely did that at times with our first, particularly around bedtimes. I remember when we tried to like transition away from me doing bedtime to James doing more of it, and a few times where I'd hear him crying and be like, oh, like, I can't bear it, I'll just do it. And actually he was like, that's really undermining to me. Like, actually, I've got this. Like, leave me alone.
Yeah. Let me struggle it
"Oh,
out. Let me struggle it out. Like the first week might be horrific, but like a week or two down the line, suddenly it's like, okay, hold on. He doesn't want mummy anymore.
yeah.
Because babies they adapt quickly as well. They adapt.
Absolutely. But like you said, Nigel, like you completely threw yourself into like fatherhood in the early days. I remember seeing videos of you like in the middle of the night pacing the streets in a carrier, and I've seen you at the baby show like with all the kids there, like totally throwing yourself in. Talk to me about your bonding journey. What's that looked and felt like to you? Because I know that's something that dads really worry about.
Yeah, like I said, the bonding journey it's massively important, and um, in the first few weeks, months, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a little bit harder for dads to bond, but that doesn't mean they can't bond. It means that they have to throw themselves into anywhere that they can bond. To give an example, if your partner is breastfeeding, that's a lot of time. We all know that can be 6-7 times a day, you know, between 10 minutes and an hour a time. So that's a lot of a baby's time that's going to be spent with mum. So to be able to be a father that gets to do burping, gets to do bathing, gets to do anything where they can interact and bond with their child, and to actually throw themselves in it, and to not just do the act, because it's easy to change a nappy, let's say, and just change a nappy. When you're changing that nappy, you've got to be talking to your baby. Say you had a bad day at work, you've gone back to work from paternity leave, you're 3 weeks into this, you're doing a nappy change. You don't do that nappy change in silence. You do that nappy change. Tell your baby about the day you had. Or, it doesn't need to be the cliche, oh, you need to sing a nursery rhyme, though singing nursery rhymes and interacting in that way with your children is hugely important and hugely beneficial. Babies will just listen to your voice. If you've had a really bad day at work and you're like, oh, Dave at work was being a little bit silly today, and your baby's going to be listening and feeling you and getting to know you and feeling your energy, what it's like at that moment. So I think men need to remember that and take advantage of every opportunity they get.
Yeah, I love that. And I think something I always talk to dads about is the skin to skin stuff, because I think it's so often talked about with mums, and it's quite often talked about just in relation to like immediately post birth. But actually, I would say skin to skin is forever, for as long as you and your child want. And it's so great for dads as well. I remember when we had our first, every morning when Finley woke up, I would breastfeed him. And then he would go on my husband for a skin to skin cuddle whilst I like got up and dressed and showered and started my day. And it worked so well for us. And it meant they got beautiful bonding time. I could still breastfeed. And then before my husband went to work, I was like showered and fed. And that was just a massive win.
Yeah, totally. I mean, skin to skin and just daddy chest time is absolutely incredible, and something that mummy can't do in the same way. And when I say that, what I mean is, especially if you're breastfeeding, the food's there. If you're doing a chest, if you're doing a baby on the chest, the food's there. Can you imagine sleeping on the dinner table? Like, you'd be like, no, let me eat. Let me pick at this. Let me pick at that. I want a bit of bacon. I want it. If you slept on the dinner table, you'd be constantly grazing. Whereas daddy's chest isn't the dinner table. It's like the bed. It's like, okay, cool. There's nothing to distract me here. I can't smell any delectable delights that I might want to eat right now. So yeah, it's a unique position that we're in. And I remember my chest was sleep spill. Anytime he was there, if we needed to calm him, that's the place.
Oh, so similar in our house. In fact, Alfie actually co-slept with James, my husband, for months and months and months. Wouldn't co-sleep with me. I'd have to feed him, pass him to daddy, and then he'd co-sleep with him.
Food's there. He knows food's there. He's like, yo, hold on, food's here. Where's the food at?
What's going on? It's so fun. And even now, Finley, who's 3, when he's tired or he's unwell, he'll go, Daddy, can you scratch my back? And that's just his cue to have a nap on him, because he doesn't want to admit the fact he's tired. But he's like, scratch my back, and then he'll just fall asleep. So they find their little funny little rhythms, don't they?
Yeah, it's amazing. Cassius has got his ones, but he'll just come straight out with it. He'll be like, Daddy, I'm tired. Can we go to bed? Like an hour before bedtime. It's like, no, you're not going to bed now, because I'm not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I know you're tired.
Let's get dancing.
We're going to push through this. We're going to push through this next hour. We'll get there. Yeah, so it's cool. It's fun.
I love it. So, I mean, I guess looking from the outside in, I feel like it looks like you always totally smash parenthood, Nigel, and the juggle, which I know is probably really tough. Talked about some of the biggest challenges.
I mean, okay, getting out of the house is a challenge. Just getting out of the house, like in a decent amount of time. An example, this morning, he goes to nursery for 3 hours, like 5 days a week. He'll go in the morning, 9 till 12, just so we can try and get some work done and do this bits and bobs. To get him out of the house, prepping him to get him out of the house, if you want to do it, you need to allow and get him some breakfast in him so that he's not going to be walking around nursery like. So he has some porridge in the morning. I mean, eating the porridge, that's half hour right there. That's half an hour right there, because you've got to heat it up. It's going to be too hot at first. Then, like, you don't want it to get too cut. Like, there's time. So, like, this morning, I've got a podcast at 9:15. He gets dropped to the nursery at 9. Like, that's a window right there. We got to 8:45, and it's like, right, we need to get out of the house now. And he's like, no, I want to look at this thing next to my shoes that I want to put. I haven't got time for this, mate. I haven't got time to get him out. So that's the struggle. These are the struggles. And any parent who says they haven't like had a short temper and been like, no, we can't do that. Raise the voice. We got to go is lying, because that just sometimes it just has to happen to make things work. Otherwise, I'd probably still be at the front door trying to get him out right now. And not here recording. Yeah. Exactly.
I wish we'd both videoed our mornings, Nigel, because that is insanely similar to mine. Just like the constant delaying tactics. We've got to read every single book on the bookshelf. We can't possibly leave a single one before we go. Oh, we had new shoes this morning, so we had to like talk all about the new shoes, and they had a bug on them. So then we had to go through all of Superworm and find where the bug was in the book. They're not Superworm shoes. I totally feel you. And I'm very much about bribery. I found that it's a great tool.
Always. It is the key tool with children is bribery. And that goes on for a while. I think that go on till teen years.
And I can still be bribed to do stuff. Like, I'm still down for that.
And they can still, and teenagers can still be bribed. It just becomes much more monetary. Once you get to teen, when they're younger, you can still use food, sweets, like promises to go places, things like that. Once you hit the teenagers, no, it becomes
Oh,
hard
designer
cash,
trainers.
cold hard cash.
Can't wait for those days. Like, start saving for them now. Other than becoming an amazing briber and negotiator, what do you wish you'd known before you became a dad?
That's an easy one for me, and it's kind of how Dadvengers is and why we are. Having uh, other dads to talk to, experience it with, go through it with, support each other, um, have a space to do the dad thing as dads without. And this is no disrespect to mums, without mums around. It's just the space turns into a different space. They
Mm,
open up differently. They talk about different things. They feel less judged. They feel less um, nervous to try something new. Yeah, they can learn things without people jumping in on them. It's just a different space. And until you experience it, I don't think you know the benefits of it. So I
mm,
think that's why we have um, at Dadvengers such a difficulty engaging with us. Once they're there, then they're there. They come
yeah.
and they get involved. But getting them to walk through that door, as it were, and be there is because a lot of dads have over the years been trained and educated to think, no, you don't need help.
Mm,
You've got this. You're the patriarch. You're the one that everyone's going to be leaning on. So you don't lean on anyone else.
mm.
Um, so with that in mind, getting them to a point where it's hold on, just come and try this out. You might like it is the most difficult thing. And I think the biggest aid we have to do that is actually back to mums. It's about mums saying, no, you're going to this. I've booked you on this. You're going. You're going to this. Dad. This is nothing to do with me. I'm not getting involved. We're not going as a family. This is for you. This is for your bonding. This is for your feelings about yourself, like everything. Just go
Yeah.
get involved and do this. Because dads don't go and search for these things. They don't go looking for dad clubs
And they
or
probably
things like
assume it
that.
doesn't exist because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not
There's a
talked
bit of
about.
that as well, and there might not be one near them. Um, but when they're involved in one, when they see what happens and how it benefits them with their relationship with their kids, with their relationship with their partners, the whole thing, then yeah, then they see the value in it.
Mm. It's us cutting those ties, isn't it, as mums? Like actually recognizing that there's two of you
Yeah.
and leaning into that and allowing that to become a norm. And I guess from what you said there, that kind of find your tribe, but it's wider, isn't it? I know a lot of what you do is talking about mental health and actually lifting the lid on that. And you know, I've got two sons, you've got two boys as well. We don't want them growing up in a generation where they feel like they've got to suppress their emotions. And ultimately, as parents, it starts with us, doesn't it? And actually demonstrating that and leading the way.
Yeah, definitely. We have to be the kind of role models for our kids in this situation, and we want our kids. We always want our kids to parent better than we did, and we want to parent better than our parents did. So with this shift that I've been mentioning of men being more involved, yeah, our children need to see it. It's actually something I'm probably going to be talking about next week on Sky News or something. Is the amount of representation that we see specifically in the early years that's male.
Mm.
Um, I think the statistics are that 84% of people in the early years space, like facilitators, are women. There's only
Wow,
like 16% that's men.
so
And
interesting.
yeah, it means our kids grow up seeing that as a woman's role, or they're not used. So when a man is thinking about what they want to do with their lives or what space they want to be in, that doesn't even register because they don't even think that that's a space that men are in or frequent, or do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
changing that narrative is massively important, hugely important.
So actually, I remember when Finley was probably around 18 months, he had a real, like, I don't know if it was like a fear or anxiety around other men other than his dad. And when James and I reflected, I was like, actually, when we go to like mum groups, it's all mums.
Yeah,
At nursery, it's all female teachers. So I
yeah.
was like, actually, he doesn't interact with any other men. So when we're suddenly at a birthday party and the dads turn up, he's like, are these people safe? Like, we really noticed that there was and he behaved differently in front of men and women, even if he didn't know either. He just was different, and I was like, it must be because that was his social norm at that time.
You don't see it. You don't experience it. That's why when I started doing the Baby Club, like one of the producers on there told me how important what I was doing was, and I didn't realize it until he actually spelled it out to me. He was like, "You don't realize you're making it men be seen in a space." So yeah, to have me doing a show like the Baby Club or a show like the Toddler Club, where it's like there's a guy leading this, there's a guy running the baby group. It's like, hold, it's normal to me now, but like at first people would have thought, whoa, hold on. And I still bump into it today. I did this, like no names, but I did there was 1 month, it was about a year or 2 years ago. There were a couple of podcasts starting, and they were starting for young kids. It's like a sleepy kind of like relaxy podcast for kids, 15 minutes, we do a story, that kind of stuff. And I did a test for 2 companies, and they both loved it. One of the companies went and focus grouped it to like some mums and kids and whatnot, and they said, oh, we prefer it if it was a woman. And from that moment they got rid of me for that job, and that is now a show that's presented by a woman. Because people were like reluctant to change. They thought that they got preconceived ideas in their head.
The dads can't do bedtime.
Well, not even that dads can't do bedtime. Just that like this is what we're used to seeing. So don't upset the status quo.
We're just hitting pause for a moment whilst I share something new and exciting with you. Have you ever wondered what's normal and what's not when it comes to your baby's poo? The colour, texture, and frequency of your baby's poo can provide valuable insight into their health and development. It can also help you determine when to seek advice from a healthcare professional. AptaClub's new AI poo tool makes it easy to understand what your baby's poo might indicate. You can even upload a photo, and the tool will analyse it to provide helpful information. You can check it out now at aptaclub.co.uk/baby/baby tools/poo tracker. What a shame, because actually that's a really exciting opportunity to do just that and create that shift and empower, men, male caregivers, male teachers.
That's what we need. We need people making shows and things like that to go, hold on. No, that's what people want. That's what people used to. But hold on. If we give you this, and this is what happens all the time. You give something to someone, and they go, okay, first time, second time, and then the third time, like, this is amazing. And we had a total sort of example of that was the second series of the Baby Club. We set up the Baby Club, and we had specific songs. We had our action song, our hello song, our goodbye song, all the things. We had our structure. Second series, I think in the first episode, we did a different action song, a new action song. Uproar on social media. Where's the action song? Like, my kid was waiting for this. Oh my gosh, it was like, whoa, the world's falling apart. Cut to a week later, this new action song's amazing. Wow. And you're just like, we did a little bit of research into it. Like, we're not going to give you something that you're not going to like. You just need to like give it a little bit of time, trust. So there's a lot of that we're still fighting today.
We hear so much, don't we? I think it's school age about like women and girls getting into like science and typically masculine roles, and we kind of need to, I think, just listening to you talk, but we need to flip the switch a bit and do the same with boys and men and get them into those roles that were typically considered female. But we seem to just be doing that in one direction, I think, at the moment.
Totally. It needs to happen in this early year space. We need to reverse it in this space.
I love it. Like, I talked about it all day because I just think it's so important. It's just so important. Nigel, what advice would you give if you will be talking when this goes live to a new dad or an expectant dad or a mum who's listening that needs to pass this information on? What advice would you want to give?
Give me a few bits. I got three. Okay, firstly, let's start at the very beginning. Expectant fathers, take it seriously from the start. Like you've seen me at baby shows, okay? So you know that I'm there talking to dads, and you'll have seen this as well. So there's dads who get dragged to a baby show,
Just to carry the bags.
well, yeah, they think they're just there to carry the bags. And they're walking around the baby show and they think that none of it's for them. And they just kind of think, yeah, I'm here to appease, blah, blah, blah. You're not there to appease. We got 9 months. I think nature gave us this 9-month preparation time for a reason. Okay. And sometimes men throw themselves in at the last minute. Lastminute.com, they do like get involved from early. And I would say, like, there's not many out there. Dadvengers do one. An expectant fathers course is gold. It's like an antenatal class, but an antenatal class, rightly so, is 80% geared towards a female and what they're going to go through and supporting them and all of that. An expectant fathers course, like the one we do, is 100% geared towards a man and what he's going to have to go through, what he's going to have to deal with, the best way to do things, the way to support, the way to get through the practicalities of parenting and find out ways to bond, like we were talking about. So yeah, one of those, really, really beneficial. Secondly, talk to your partner. Massive one. Communicate from day dot, again, from early. We've all got parenting expectations that are there from the way we were parented. They might be wildly different to our partners. That doesn't matter that they're wildly different. What you don't want is to be finding these things out mid, I have not slept in 3 weeks, because the conversations don't go well. They and it's not because of like anything, but you are stupid tired. So yeah, have loads of conversations beforehand. That's hugely important. You'll thank yourself later on. And last but not least, try and spend that alone time with your child. Try and find the moments to learn you and your child and the bond you have. And that means taking yourself away from your space or finding time in your space where it's just you and your child. So yeah, whether that's going on walks and going to dad groups and going, or whatever, spend some alone time, or whether that's everyone out the house, it's me and baby, go and get your nails done, go and see your mum, go and do whatever you want to do, see your mates, go to the spa, whatever. Like, find that time for yourself.
I love that. And honestly, like, as a mum and as a woman, there's nothing that brings me as much happiness as when our boy's dad goes, so I've got this. And I'm like, oh, it's like you almost both sometimes need that permission to like do your own thing. And I think, again, that's communication is just so key, isn't it? That communicating what you need to thrive, what you need to survive, and actually what's going to allow dads to have that dad and baby bonding time, and then everyone's have that really important headspace.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, Nigel, I could talk to you about this all day, but thank you. And to anyone listening who is a dad, is expecting a baby, wants their partner, if you're listening on someone's behalf, to get educated on what they can do to help them bond and to help support you so that you can thrive as a family, make sure you do check out Nigel's awesome work with Dadvengers. It's all linked in the episode description. Yeah. Thanks so much, Nigel.
Thank you for having me.